Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsacharuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 5 and 6. We've subtitled it, The Dynamics of Death. This is one of the questions, one of the 7 questions that Arjuna had put, and the 7 profound questions and the 7 profound answers that Sri Krishna gave. So we had, because of the other profound answers, we couldn't dwell on this particular topic at length. So today we will try to do justice to this. Another big, profound, deep, mysterious, dark, terrifying question of death. Well, what happens? At the time of death, anyone who departs by giving up the body while thinking of me, that is God, alone, attains to my state. There is no doubt about this. Here, it's clear. At the time of death, even at the time of death, yeah. Anyone who departs by giving up the body while thinking of me alone attains to my state. Yeah. So, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. Beautiful. At the time of death. So, hey, what happens at the time of death? We have not taught people how to live. So obviously they don't know how to die. People, death? Oh, no, you've got to teach people how to die. And for that you will be able to then understand how you can teach people how to live. And it's very important. It's like what you have done in your life will indicate what you are going to experience at the final moments of death. So they're saying, at the time of death, antakali, at the end time, at the time, he's saying, mameva, one who remembers, smaran, remembers me while giving up the body. How do you give up the body? Well, there's a doubt whether the self is one with the body or is the self different from the body. All these doubts are there. And these doubts constantly plague us. What happens afterwards? What is the transition? Everything is so kind of hazy. Nobody can really tell you what exactly happens. There are claims, there are stories, there are authentic, there are inauthentic, that speak about people who have crossed a threshold and returned. They are in great demand, of course. And their testimony is lapped up by everybody. Oh, what happens? Yeah. But death never comes unannounced. Never. Even if your supposedly dying suddenly, it has been telling you that it's time that I will be coming, either in dreams or in visions or something you hear, something like that. So, Yama, the god of death, is a very nice guy. He will not take anybody by surprise. He's been asking you to prepare yourself now. Prepare yourself? Yes, you must prepare yourself to die. So, the Lord says, there's no doubt about it. When this person gives up the body, thinking of me alone. But how is it possible to think? Well, if you have thought of the Lord throughout your life, then it becomes easy to remember God at the time of death. It's as is. Before we can go into the dynamics of death, we'll just read the next verse. It gives us an idea. He stated a rule. You think of me while giving up a body, you will come to me. There's no doubt about it. As simple as that. Okay, this is understood. This rule can mean also any other thing. You think of any other thing, you're going to get that. So that's why he's saying, O son of Kunti, that is Arjuna, thinking of any entity, whichever it may be, one gives up the body at the end, one attains that very one, having been always engrossed in its thoughts. As you think, so will you be. Obviously. So your thoughts are what is going to give you a direction. Now this is important. Now this is kind of clear. Your thoughts, your final thoughts. At the time of death, okay, now what actually happens? There is something called the vital force, the life force. It's called prana. This prana is displayed everywhere, wherever there is energy or motion or movement or anything. So Swami Vivekananda says, from the highest stars to the lowest, you can say, creepy crawlies, you have the display of prana. You'll say, oh my God, but that prana is here. Prana is here in the body. It is also manifested as thought. It is manifested as life. It is manifesting as the body. Yeah, because your prana is creating these bodies. It's also manifesting as gravity and strong and nuclear and weak nuclear forces and all these electromagnetism, everything that is in the universe. Wherever you see any form of energy, vibration, it is prana. Okay, so from the smallest atom to the biggest galaxies, you will find prana working there. But now we are talking about what happens here when this guy thinks he wants to go out. And this guy thinks, so you've probably seen, it's like in the ocean, there are these huge currents, bringing cold and hot water. When the water becomes cold, it sinks. When it comes near the poles, it sinks because the water gets cold. And when it comes near the equator, it warms up and rises. So these are the huge conveyor belts of the ocean. The ocean does not look as it is like that. There are huge currents, massive currents. And because of this climate change, these currents are being disrupted. And if it gets disrupted, say goodbye to everything. The whole thing, all systems will collapse. So the oceans have these mighty currents. In our bodies, there is also an ocean of prana. And there are these two mighty ocean currents. They are called the Ida and the Pingala. Ida is on the left side, Pingala on the right side. They move all over the body. One is hot, this one is the hot, this is the cold one. Okay. And it transfers heat and everything around the body. Okay. Now this much is understood. This ocean of prana which is in the body has got 10 divisions, but the 5 are kind of superfluous. The other 5 are important. They are prana, apana, vyana, samana and udana. So it's prana, just. You will feel the prana move from here, from the chest upwards. Okay. That's prana. When you see the action of prana here, its action is here at the tip of the nose. From the navel downwards is apana. This is, you'll feel it more in the pelvic region, apana. Vyana is that which distributes the heat all over the body. Samana metabolizes all food and everything what you have. That's its work. And again, sends it all over the place. So this goes up, respiration, this excretion, and this is kind of distribution. So you have it. Okay. Udana, there's another important factor in this prana called udana. Uddana, one which rises up. It is felt in the throat region. Okay. It makes the body buoyant, light. And that's why you can do high jumps and long jumps and run and water. A dead body cannot do that. Or if the udana is like this, you feel so heavy. Come on, let's get up. Oh no. That's the udana. So it makes the body kind of light and buoyant. Okay. This is under. So at the time of death, when death is approaching you, or death doesn't approach you, you are approaching death. That's a better one. As you are going down. So the Upanishads say, like a heavily laden cart, ox cart. In ancient India, we had oxen carts. It is pulled and it creaks and makes all these noises. I think some of us have seen that. Huge oxen carts and things are piled and that poor oxen are pulling and hands creaking and creaking and creaking. So, as you are approaching death, this is what actually happens externally. There is a lot of creaking and shouting and all that. I remember once I was seeing a Swami who was going to pass away. And then, obviously, we were all there. We are brahmacharyans. And we were chanting the Bhagavad Gita. This happened actually in Bengaluru. And then we were chanting so that Swami, and we are feeling sleepy. It was in the middle of the night. Okay, when is the guy going? Feeling sleepy. Then I and another friend of mine, another monastic, we just stepped out for a while. There's other monastics, they're doing the chanting. I said, you go, keep on. And then we just stepped out and the heavy breathing stops. We went, gone. But actually, we say, it's gone. Actually, it hasn't gone yet. That thing has stopped, that heavy breathing, like that ox cart, full of all that stuff, creaking, that has externally said. At this point, what happens is, those huge currents, remember the ocean currents? The ocean of prana which is there in you, and the Ida and the Pingala, it moves in a kind of 8 fashion, runs zigzag up, not rather zigzag, like an 8 fashion. It takes the heat up, comes down here, becomes cool, rises up again. So it's kind of a thermostatic, you can say, mechanism, keeps everything up. Now, in this state, you can't leave the body. It's just impossible. You can leave the body, but it's going to be a kind of terrible death. If that person is ready, those huge currents which are circulating around you, which are pulling the rest of the, you can say, pranas, distributing all over, they slow down. Like, be careful if the ocean currents, if the acidity gets increased in this ocean, it's going to disrupt everything and everything is going to die. If the oceans die, everything on land will die. So these mighty currents, they slow down. They slow down because they are becoming more and more internal. They are going more and more internal. Now, joined to the two, rather it's actually one current, just running up and down. Because when it climbs up, we say, oh, this is the Pingala, and this side is kind of Ida. That's these two currents, the sun and the moon currents. It is becoming more subtle, it is becoming slow and more subtle. And these are the principal, you can say, currents. And joined to these are 72,000 small nerves, nadis they are called. Yeah, so they are all over the body. And they have different colors. Brown, black, white, harita, lohita, pingala, all red and all that. So all your karmas are in that nadis. Okay? So they start retracting as these two mighty currents slow down. They're coming slow and they're getting deeper inside. They retract all the 72,000 nerves. And as the prana is retracting, that's the time when you see a kind of a jerking and sometimes, kind of like the shaking. The body is kind of, it sees something's happening inside, doesn't know. This is a time of great confusion. If you have been prepared for that, then it's no confusion at all. But otherwise, there's great confusion, there's terror. But you cannot articulate it. Because the Upanishads say the sense organs of the eye is retracted. And those around will say, he does not see. Then they'll say, he does not hear. He does not say, do you know me? Can you recognize me? Are you alive? That guy cannot hear anything because all the sense organs are being retracted by the prana. These are also called prana in a way. They've been retracted, and the motor organ also in the mind. So here it is pulling back. It is at this point one sees your whole life flash in a moment. Everything that you said, you have done, you have thought, everything. And it is at that point you know your predominant thoughts. Ah. So there it is. Now it's become clear. Okay. At this point, respiration stops. It has already become feeble, then it stops. They'll take, oh, he stopped breathing. He's dead. No, wait, not yet. According to this dynamics, is not yet dead yet, fully dead. Don't worry. Yeah, this is the kind of this is one of those things. So this it is retracted. This stops. Okay. Now it is at this moment that Udana, which is here in the throat, it has a seat here, starts pulling the other apana, samana and vyana, the other functions of the prana. Hey, come, let's get up. Time to get out. So it depends on your karma, depends on the last kind of strength that you have. It might take a few minutes. Yeah, till a few minutes. It's slowly retracting. And you'll feel everything now getting cold. Before that, yeah, your respiration stops, and after a few minutes, yeah, sometimes maybe 3 or 4, 5, 6 minutes, the apana stops. It's being pulled. It is at this time sometimes you have a voiding of the bladder or something like that. There is no control there. Everything is being pulled up. Metabolism has stopped, all that thing. Now there is a kind of a programmed cell death here. Cell apoptosis. What's it called? Yeah. It's a kind of, everything, command runs through the body. Die, 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 die. All the cells die, keep on dying. It's a kind of like a domino effect. The Vyana, the heat is still there in the body. It is now only up to here, mainly in spinal cord and here. So even now you will find your nail growing, and your kind of, if you're a man, you'll like get a beard still growing and all that. Yeah. At this point, that also retracted, Vyana, that heat, and the body starts getting cold. And then what is experienced is that rigor mortis. Body starts becoming stiff. Now, so what happens now inside is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. How deep? I thought there was only one story building. No, there are plenty of stories inside. There are plenty of chambers inside. So they're saying it retracts here, top of the heart brightens. Okay. Because all the prana has been pulled in, the senses along with the mind and everything, it brightens. It gets deeper inside. So till here, sometimes till about 20 minutes, sometimes even more, sometimes even less. After the breathing has stopped, the guy is still there inside. Okay. So that's the time when we pray and this and that. So at least something from outside will try to get inside. That guy can hear inside. The internal consciousness is never lost. You may not be able to hear it through all these, but then that person is. So it is here then that subtle body now becomes loosened from the gross body, because all those 72,000 nerves, the Kathopanishad gives 101 nerves. If you enter into that one nerve, the top of the heart brightens, and there's a path that leads you one up. That's called a Sushumna. there's another subtle psychic, you can say, channel. Those two, Ida and Pingala, those two mighty currents, sun and moon, they coalesce, they actually one, they coalesce and then they enter into that brightened top and then they move towards the Sushumna. When the top of the heart brightens, now where's the heart? It's not a physical heart, it's that spiritual heart there inside, Anahata. It's the center of consciousness. That's a time when, at the time of death, not at a time when the breathing has stopped and all that. Wait, so there is still time. At the time of death, anyone who departs at that, it's brightened. So it's now pulling everything up and going. By giving up the body while thinking of me. Now, there is, in some cases there is pain, some cases there is no pain, but there is confusion there. It is at this time many people get a glimpse of some light or some tunnel or some person comes to meet them, something like that, kind of trying to allay that confusion, that fear, that terror. What's going to happen to me? It also depends on one's culture, the way one has brought up. You might see Rama, or you might see Krishna, or you might see Christ, or you might see Buddha. So your departure now is there. While thinking of me alone. So whatever you have done all your life, that is a predominant thought that rises up. They say, attains my state. So you think of God throughout your life. At the time of death, that thought of God will predominate. Everything else will be suppressed. And then you will attain the state. You merge actually in God. That is a different, you can say, path. This chapter, towards the end, will speak about these two paths. Okay. So there's a path of the, you can say, gods and the paths of the manis, the ancestors. So this year, that person goes through that path and enters into the state of God, the divine state. We've been given a kind of a description of this. When we come down to the 10th verse, there's a better kind of description. Prayana kale manasa chalena bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva bhruvor madhye pranamaveksha samyak satam param purushamupaiti divyam. So here now is death is approaching you. See, the idea is you must be able to conquer death. That is the whole idea of life. What is life? Conquer life. And when you conquer life, you conquer death. Death has death, where is thy terror? Oh, death, where is thy sting? Like Shakespeare. No? So in the 10th verse, it's a beautiful. So I'll read the English translation for you. Kind of amazing. These guys have thought about all these things. So at the time of death, prayana kale manasa chalena. At the time of death, having fully fixed the prana, vital force, between the eyebrows, and with an unswerving mind, and being imbued with bhakti, devotion, and also the strength from yoga, yoga bala, one reaches that resplendent Purusha. So here, pull it up, and then say Om and let it go. So we will see the inner dynamics a little later on. I've given you the other psychic phenomena that happens to the body when it's time of death. Okay. So here we have, and then suppose you are not thinking your thought of God doesn't come, then you're gone, you're a goner. Oh my God. I thought of my horse. What about my horse? There was a king, Jada Bharata. He had a pet deer, a fawn. He raised it up. And as you were dying, you were thinking, what's going to happen of my deer? Thinking of the deer, he became a deer. So, you have to be careful. So here the Lord says, thinking of any entity, whichever it may be, when one gives up the body at the end, one attains that very thing, having been always engrossed in its thought. You have been thinking of it, you've been engrossed in thought. That thought is leading you now to that very thing. Okay, so here it is. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Sada, always tad bhava, that state, bhavit, thinking of that, engrossed in that. Yam yam, whatever you've been thinking, whatever entity, whatever thought you've been thinking, been engrossed in that thought at a time of giving up, tyajati ante, giving up at the end, your body kalevaram. You will attain that. So this is what. There is no justice. What do you mean justice? What you wanted this all your life, you're getting it. That's justice actually. No, but I wanted something else. You should have thought about it. So here comes grace. You are not just left to your own, you can say, strength and or your weaknesses, whatever. And there are millions of cases where the person, as a person is going to die, is on the point of death, that person sees his or her chosen deity. Get a seat. Sri Ramakrishna has come. Quickly. That guy said, what happened? The guy's gone crazy. In India, we know. Oh, yeah, we'll bring it. I can't see, but this guy can see it. This is what happens. So, is it outside way, inside? For him, the mind has become so pervasive, it is pointed, it's refracting everywhere. So, it is inside, it appears outside also. So, you see Sri Ramakrishna or Holy Mother or Swamiji coming to help the soul to remember God. So, what are thoughts? All those thoughts are nothing but old memories. When you think of a particular thing, those impressions go and lie down there in the body of your, you can say, mind as memories. And they coalesce, groups of things related to the mics, and all these things are in one class, and memories related to books are in another class. Things related to furniture is in another class. Swami Vivekananda calls it pigeonholing. They are all pigeonholed. Okay. So, but then at a time everything kind of comes out. They find that all the pigeons come out of the holes. So that confusion is there. So whatever you have done repeatedly, that memory has become strong. And that's why they say, do japa, keep on doing japa. Yeah, but I've done japa. How many you've done? I did 8. Okay, do a little 100 more. It'll be good for you. Then what is that? It's nothing but consolidating your memories, divine memories. That's the whole idea. So that's the point of exit. Keep going. You're taking the name of the divine name now and exiting. You will see the form. So the name and the named, name and form are non-different. So you have been taking name, say of Shiva, and then you keep on taking name Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. At the time of that, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and Shiva will come. Hey, come on, let's go. Yeah. And then what happens? You attain that state of Shiva, or Rama, or Krishna, or Ramakrishna. But which state? There's only one state. That's one God appearing as to you according to your liking. That's why it's called a chosen ideal. So you think of anything, you're going to get that. If you think of God, you're going to get it. And that is the final test of how a person gives up the body. We'll know what this guy did all his life. Or she did all her life. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So, and that is like Sri Ramakrishna. He said, Kali, Kali, Kali. He 3 times repeated, and that was that. So you, and that's why in India, we don't sit down quietly. No. We start doing japa or singing bhajans or reading the scriptures when a person is passing away. That's a better way. Somewhere a kind of recognition will come. When Sri Ramakrishna's father, Kshudiram, all his life he took the name of Rama. At the time of death, he had gone out from his village to another village. At the time of death, so his sons and nephews saying, his nephew is saying, "What happened, uncle? You all your life you've taken Rama's name. Why are you quiet?" He was quiet. So, have you returned from that task? He had gone out, saying, "Yes, everything is over." Yes, okay. Now he takes the name of Rama, and he is unwavering, with an unwavering mind, takes the name of Rama and gives up the body. And we have hundreds and millions of examples like this. That's why in the 7th verse is saying, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. That's why at all times think of me and fight. Fight means do all your duties. Maya arpita mano buddhir. One who has offered his mind and body and intellect to me. By dedicating your mind and intellect to me, you will attain me alone. This is what it is. So here it is. So you dedicate your body to God, your mind to God, your intelligence to God, you will get it. Tesham eva anukampataham ajnanas. I, out of compassion, will lift them out of this ocean of samsara. Yeah. So here also he is not only saying, okay, you do this, you're a yogi, now let's see what yoga did you did. Okay. But from his side, from the God side also, God comes and so the point of death is the point of merger of the individual and the universal soul. It is not a point of despair and pain and loss and agony and all these things. What kind of this? As the prana is being retracted, getting into the mind, there then is no experience of pain. That's another thing. Whatever pain you had after the prana has been retracted from the body and senses, there's no pain. So the actual experience of death is painless. There's no pain there. It's like a small fish being released into a big lake. A kind of small fish in a small pot, it was there. Suddenly you take it and so the individual meets the universal. The individual soul now merges into that is attaining my state. Yeah, there are the various paths, but we will take it up when we come to those sections. Okay, we'll stop here for questions. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. So many, oh my God. Yeah. What kind of pralaya is death compared to sleep? Sleep is called nitya pralaya, constant pralaya. Constant dissolution. Constant dissolution, daily dissolution. The giving up of the body, death, is called a naimittika. Occasional. So it doesn't happen every time you sleep. But there is an old in Greek mythology, I think, sleep is a brother of death. For sleep and death are two twin brothers. But this is a very distinct state. Okay, death is conscious. Okay, do liberated beings who merge with God, do not come back? So how is it a liberation? Thank you. Why should you come back? This is samsara. That is liberation. That is God. Why you want to come back? You want to have some little more misery? Or you have some desire for cookies? You better finish it now only. There are those special souls who come along out with a specific mission, but they come liberated already. They are ever free. They are nitya muktas. Like people like Swami Vivekananda and all these, Swami Brahmananda, they are free. They come with a specific mission to free us, all of us. So we get free. So merging in God is freedom. So how is it a liberation? God is free. You are bound, obviously. So there, apart from all the thank yous, yeah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.